Hey guys, how you going? Okay, we're going to get into some really interesting news today. We've got the USA, we've got Australia, we've got the UK, we've got more on the coke, apparently, allegedly. By the way, everyone mentioned here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and everything mentioned here is theory until proven fact, even if it is fact. Okay? I remembered. Yay! Okay, let's get into it. Ripple Queen here said breaking bullish pattern set as multiple airlines now accept XRP directly as a mode of payment. If you don't know what XRP is, it's a cryptocurrency. If you don't have it yet, I'd get some if I were you. I should be able to put a link for any Australians who want to. I have a link that I can give to Australians, but it's only an Australian link. For other people, I'm not sure where to get your crypto. Okay, but anyway, multiple airlines are accepting XRP. Okay, it's on its way up again, guys. Just for anyone who's interested, because I know a few people who listen to me have XRP. King Valak said Trump signs economic partnership with Saudi Arabia. The reset is in full effect. They put XRP with that as well. Maybe because of this. Grad Hat said XRP has just become the new world reserve currency. Buckle up. Central Bank of Saudi Arabia teams up with Ripple to transform cross-border settlements. International, like I said. The emergence of cryptocurrencies could potentially threaten the dominance of the petrodollar system because cryptocurrencies are not tied to any particular country. They could provide an alternative to the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. However, it remains to be seen whether cryptocurrencies will be widely adopted as a means of payment for oil. I guess we're going to find out. We know the petrodollar is going to go down. And for the person asking me where I got my news from, I do get it from X, but I also got it from here, this site here, okay? Now, when you first go into this site, what will happen is you'll get a warning sign saying that the site is not safe. It is safe. There never used to be a warning sign on there. There are 4,966 posts, and most of it's questions, okay? Shot heard around the world, a great awakening, a week to remember. I can't really put this in the... They won't let me, okay? YouTube will do things if I put this in there. So this is another place where I've gotten my news since 2017, okay? See the date changing here? The date will change. Let me just refresh it and it'll go back to... See, this is what you get. Suspected phishing, okay? So you ignore and proceed. Okay, and it'll bring it up. Just like this. And this is the end date, the date it's stopped. Now, if you want to go back to the beginning, there's a little arrow up the top where you can go back and start at the beginning. Okay, Mockingbird Media. Hillary Rodham Clinton detained, not arrested yet. Okay, just read it and bear with it, okay? I know it may be confusing, but you'll get a lot more of an idea of what is going on right now as I follow this since 2017, and I think I have a fair idea, although there's some, curveballs thrown here and there, but, Okay, Scott Carpenter said, I was told open borders in Western countries was a far-right conspiracy theory. Because now what's happened is, the UK Prime Minister, we're ending Britain's open borders experiment. Oh, but that was a conspiracy theory. No, wait, there's spoiler alerts now. For too long, businesses were actively encouraged to bring in lower-paid workers rather than invest in our own people. We're fixing the system and restoring control to our borders. I certainly hope so. Okay, this is a commentary account. It's not Pam Bondi, but it's called News Pam Bondi, okay? Breaking Governor Greg Abbott has officially halted construction of the 402-acre Muslim-only Epic City in Texas. Should we allow Muslim-only cities on American soil? Well, as an Australian, I say no. And we shouldn't allow them here either. But I love America, and I do not believe that you should. You guys, definitely not. Definitely not. I love America nearly as much as I love Australia. There you go. Maybe I do love it as much as I love Australia. Steve Ferguson said, remember when the votes were being counted in Pennsylvania after the 2020 presidential election? Corey Lewandowski and Pam Bondi showed up at Philadelphia vote counting facility demanding entry. They had a warrant signed by a judge allowing them entry. Well, they were turned away. This must be investigated, unravel this, and you could destroy the Democrat Party root and branch. Interesting. Then we have Barron, news Barron, not the real Barron Trump, I don't believe. Breaking FBI Director Patel just got rocked. A whistleblower dropped bombshell evidence that top US judges were bribed using migrant traffic funds. Evidence now in AG Pam Bondi's hands. This is treason at the highest level, and I do believe they were using US aid for that. That's where some of the money was going. Okay, fan of Pam Bondi parody account. Breaking, Kash Patel uncovers private Clinton emails with Chinese officials discussing uranium deals. Should Clinton face espionage charges? Yes, this is treason, or no, just bad diplomacy. Well, she should. Hillary Clinton should. And it was Hillary Clinton. Okay, it wasn't Bill, it was Hillary. At least I believe it was Hillary doing it on behalf and for her and her husband and her daughter, who were also receiving US aid money. Yep, that thing paid for a lot, so it's really good that Doge cleaned that up. Fan of Pam Bondi, again, breaking Majority Leader Thune and Speaker Johnson push back on Trump's executive order to lower prescription drug prices. Thune over $1.2 million from Big Pharma since 1997, and Johnson has had $300,000 plus since 2018. Should leaders who take pharma money be allowed to block drug price reforms? No, they should not. If they are found to have any money from Big Pharma, they should not be allowed. In fact, they shouldn't be allowed in Parliament, Congress. But hey, it's just me. Tool makers of the world unite. Okay. MERS clocked the cocaine spoon first. They're half the size of a pen, one end for cutting, the other for sniffing. Okay, this is the things I saw yesterday. I think one side for, sniffing, one for cutting. Okay. Someone's bent theirs a little bit. But that's what the spoon was, and I have relooked, and I'll show you, again, another one. I have relooked, and I will show you exactly where that was in the clip, because I missed it the first time. This was a spoon used by Al Pacino in Scarface. This is what they look like. Caught, banged to rights. I don't know what that means, but anyway. We'll continue. Okay. Hawkeye said some journalists surprised the partners when the cameras turned on. Macron hastily hit a certain white package while MERS hit an object that looked like a spoon for using coke. Afterwards, everyone fell awkwardly silent as if they'd been caught. Okay, ready? There's the spoon. And there. I think they're doing photo ops because they keep changing position and, yeah, that was a sly smile. Yep, see it? Okay, just so everyone can see clearly, there it is there, and that's what it is. Wow. Holy cow, I didn't realise there was a whole kit from it. Go to the next post directly from here. Oh, that's the photos. Yep, okay. Bundeskanzler Friedrich Merz said, we take care and we'll keep in touch. Always, if you want, you can call. And that's them walking out. Of course, little Zelensky's there. He's a coke freak, mate. Okay. They're not the only ones. Our politicians are doing the same thing. And so, because we've seen this, I don't need to show it again. Okay, but we will go back. Just for those who missed it, spoon, the bag. Okay, he hit it. He's got it under his hand. This guy's got this in his hand. He's playing with it like a pen. And he's going to grab it with the other hand and slide it into the pocket there. Yeah. I think they thought they were just doing a photo shoot, to be honest. Hiding Kleenex tissue. The other one is having a spoon. Europe is led by cronies. Trump's the only leader who is sober. And I'll agree with that. And a lot of ours are too. And I don't want anyone who's on really any drugs in any positions of power, including myself, okay? Julian's Rum said the 2,000-year-old identity of the Catholic Church is rooted in the establishment of Christ's universal church. The 500-year-old identity of the Protestant Church is rooted in the rejection of the Catholic Church. That's something I didn't know. Now, I grew up as a Protestant Irish person, but I don't care. I love Catholics. I don't care. Okay? And if that is the case, and it proves to be the case, I'm joining the Catholic Church. Okay? And if it happens to be the, what are the other ones? I like the Russians have, I can't remember the name of them. If that happens to be the main religion, then, you know, if that happens to be the original, then I'm there. Whatever the original one was, I want to be there. And if the Protestant church isn't, and I've heard this, that the Protestant church is very left-leaning. Okay, they sort of accept things like marriages that aren't supposed to be accepted and, you know, things like that. Because really, if you are of the church, you don't accept, like the Bible does not accept that. It teaches you not to. Men do not wear women's clothes and women do not wear men's. Although even I've done that. Men's tracksuit pants because they're more comfortable. But hey, okay. Oh dear. Illuminati Bot said, what do you notice about this picture of Big Mike? Those are some big muscly legs, mate. What do you notice? This is Michelle Obama, allegedly. Okay? I don't know. I mean, you'd have to work out a lot to get like that. As a female, you'd have to work out a whole... I don't know if I've ever seen a female with legs like that before. Not that big. Muscles, yes. Not like that. Okay, now we're into Laura Loomer. I don't know. I'm sus on all people at the moment, all these people. Laura Loomer said, I love Donald Trump. Sometimes you just have to call a spade a spade. Qatar funds the Muslim Brotherhood, which funds BLM, Antifa and every Islamic radical in the United States. Qatar is facing terrorism and chaos in America. This is undeniable, proven fact. Mary Marzano said, stop saying you love Trump, you hypocrite. Your actions are way louder than your words. You're like a wife beater saying you love the target of your own abuse. Yes, I actually agree with that. I'm really starting to wonder about Laura Loomer. Bill Holt said 11 things I'd like to see happen before President Trump leaves office. Number 1, President Trump delivering the eulogy for Joe Biden, wherein he lists all the crimes Biden committed. Letitia James actually going to prison for the crime we know she committed. Ilhan Omar expelled from Congress and deported. Yay. Fauci and Gitmo. Yay. The View cancelled. Yay. I'd love to see these. This is just a wish list, guys. Obama dragged out of the closet and investigated for the murder of his chef. The Democrats finally running from justice instead of flaunting it. Adam Schiff finally investigated for pedo and murder. 10, Pelosi, Bernie and Liz Warren fully and honestly audited for any and all financial crimes. 11, the Epstein list. What's on your Trump bucket list? Yeah, that's a good start. Oh, dear. But I hear Adam Schiff is being investigated for something. It might be related to the Russia thing. Donald J. Trump, remember Schiff in the skiff? Remember that, everyone? Anyway, yeah, he had his own skiff going. Donald J. Trump said drug prices about to be cut by 59% plus. Okay, gasoline, energy, groceries and all other costs down, no inflation, love DJT. I wish President Trump was our Prime Minister as well. Or President, one of the two. DC Lidston said it was requested. Did you listen today? Remember Trump said tippy top. He's done it a couple of times now. If you can't read the writing on the wall, let me spell it out for you. There's been a large push to denounce this. Okay, this is what this is. by groups out there. Today, Trump gave the biggest hat tips possible to the drops. If you think they aren't paying attention to our community, think again. Someone said tip-top, tippy-top shape. And they responded saying it was requested. Did you listen today? And Trump actually said those words, tippy-top shape. Okay, tippy-top. He said some funny things to shout out to prove to us that this is real, okay? And mainstream media was one of the biggest ones to denounce it, mind you. So if anyone is following mainstream media and denouncing it, just have another look. Retard Finder said new segment. Most retarded accounts on X. Number 1, Jojo from Jers. Yes, she is a moron, okay? Very big one. Charlie Kirk said the far-left government of the UK is requiring a mandatory English test for new adult migrants to the UK. What about the ones that are already there? And requiring progress in English learning to receive visa extensions or permanent residency. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so you have to have progress to receive visa extensions or permanent residency. Still, what about the ones that have been given it? Doubling the wait time for permanent residency from 5 to 10 years. Hiking taxes on universities that enrol foreign students, sharply raising the tax for companies when they hire foreign skilled workers to ensure only the most highly skilled necessary workers are brought from abroad, allowing deportation as a punishment for all crimes, not just those resulting in 1 year of prison time or more, sharply limiting the new hiring of low-wage foreign workers and instead ordering nursing homes and other facilities to drain native Britons. President Trump's movement has completely changed attitudes towards migration all across the West. The question is, will Democrats be the last ones to get it? Well, it looks like Keir Starmer, after signing that deal with Trump, has had his orders. That is very interesting. It remains to be seen what happens, but it is very interesting. Go the UK now from it, and it's Trump's deal that got it through. Rowan Dean said congratulations to Sussan. I'm just going to call her Sus for an outstanding victory in today's, get it? Because she put an extra S in her name. He's put an extra A, an extra A, an extra I, an extra Y, an extra I, an extra T, an extra L, or a few extra L's. Congratulations to Sussan for an outstanding victory in today's Liberal Party ballot because Sussan Ley, or Sus Ley, is now the head of our Liberal Party in Australia. There are better choices than her. This is the establishment in the Liberal Party, which is supposed to be the opposition, supposed to be our Conservative side. No, this is the establishment, so like rhinos in Australian politics. Barron has said, breaking, FEMA Director Cameron Hamilton just got dragged out of HQ for defying Trump's order to shut it down. No resignation, no retirement, just removal. FEMA was a deep state weapon, land grabs, black ops, fake emergencies. Trump pulled the plug. New boss, Marine warfighter David Richardson. Mission, demolish FEMA from the inside. The control grid is collapsing. CDC, DOJ, IRS, you are next. Let's go. Rational Aussie said the Liberal Party, okay, this is the Liberal Party, our supposed Conservative Party, which is nothing but left, has just sealed its fate. It's over for them. This woman does not believe in free speech. She's E-Karen 2.0 and will be an unmitigated disaster. There is no viable right-wing party in this country to take control from the socialist parasites. The crown is on the ground for whoever is brave enough to pick it up. Lay beats Taylor to become the first woman to lead the Liberals MP Labor ministry sworn in. Oh dear God, help. Trump, help. Please do to Albanese what you just did to Keir Starmer, whatever you did. Please. Rob Smith said none of the Labor ministers are holding the Bible while being sworn in here in Australia. I've seen 2 so far, just 2 out of 10. Chris Bowen refused to hold the Bible, as did Mean Girl Katie Gallagher. Mark Butler refused. They all have. None of them are holding the Bible. What a shocking blight on customs, constitution and all things right and decent. Labor are disgraceful. I'd like to know actually how many, sorry, my stomach's growling if you can hear that, just before breakfast time for me. So I'd like to see all of our politicians and whether they put their hand on the Bible when they were sworn in. Mick Amias, also here in Australia. According to some reports, Susan, Leigh's father, was British intelligence. Not sure everyone knows this, but she was also born in Nigeria. So potentially the next Prime Minister of Australia was Nigerian born and has potential family ties to British intelligence. Sus Leigh's migration memories. I was born in Nigeria but don't remember it because we migrated from there to the United Arab Emirates when I was 1. First lived in Qatar, then Sharjah, then Dubai, then Abu Dhabi, then Al Ain. I moved throughout the Emirates because of my father's job. He was attached to British intelligence and worked as sheikhs, the rulers of the Emirates, work with them at the time. That's very interesting. So we have a British spy in Australian government who was born in Nigeria. Okay, I was born in Ireland. That makes me eligible to become the Prime Minister of Australia. Is that right? Because you don't need much else. They don't have many brains, or they don't have much brains. Rob Smith said, I took it upon myself to write to President Trump. As we know, Albanese is set to meet President Trump. Donald, oh my goodness, I'm tongue-tied today. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington. Okay, let's go just down here. And the date was 12th of May. Dear President Trump, I'm writing to inform you of the upcoming meeting with the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and to provide context about his political stance, past statements and actions that may be relevant to your discussions. As a concerned observer of international relations, I believe it's critical for you to be fully aware of Albanese's record, particularly regarding his views on you and his government's diplomatic choices. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, leader of the Australian Labor Party, has positioned himself as a progressive figure, often aligned with radical leftist policies. His government has prioritised climate action, social equity programs and multilateral trade agreements, which some critics argue diverge from the pragmatic, bilateral approach favoured by your administration. More concerning, Albanese has a history of disparaging you personally. In 2017, while serving as a senior opposition figure, he stated at a public event, he, Trump, scares the shit out of me, criticising your leadership style and use of social media for political communication. This remark, which resurfaced during the 2024 US election, was described by some Australian commentators as juvenile and unbecoming of a future head of government. Albanese has not apologised for this statement, instead deflecting questions by emphasising his willingness to work with you. During Australia's 2025 federal election, Albanese's Labor Party employed a campaign strategy that sought to link his opponent, opposition leader Peter Dutton, to you in a divisive smear. Labor portrayed Dutton's conservative policies such as public service cuts and nuclear energy proposals as echoes of your America First agenda, accusing the coalition of seeking to Americanise Australia's healthcare system and adopt your style of polarising politics. Labor's rhetoric, including deriding Dutton as doji and mocking coalition figures for wearing Make America Great Again merchandise, aimed to stoke fears of Trump-style governance. This tactic proved effective, contributing to Labor's landslide victory and Dutton's loss of his parliamentary seat. Such tactics suggest Albanese is willing to exploit your image for domestic political gain, raising questions about his sincerity in fostering a constructive US-Australia relationship. Furthermore, Albanese's appointment of Kevin Rudd as Australia's ambassador to the US in 2022 has been a point of contention. Rudd, a former Labor Prime Minister, has a well-documented history of harshly criticising you. In now-deleted social media posts and public statements, Rudd described you as the most destructive president in history, a traitor to the West, nuts, and someone who drags America and democracy through the mud. In a 2021 webinar, he went further, calling you a village idiot and incoherent in your leadership. These remarks, made while Rudd was a private citizen and think tank leader, were removed from his personal website and social media after your 2024 election victory. with his office citing respect for your office as the reason. However, the timing and extent of these deletions suggest an attempt to sanitise his record rather than a genuine shift in perspective. Despite calls from Australian commentators and politicians, including economist Leith Van Onselen and Senator Ralph Babbitt, to replace Rudd due to his untenable position, Albanese has steadfastly supported him, praising Rudd as doing a terrific job and emphasising the importance of the US-Australia alliance. Your own comments in March 2024 describing Rudd as a little bit nasty and not the brightest bulb, and your daughter-in-law Lara Trump's suggestion that Australia might need to choose someone else indicate an awareness of Rudd's problematic history. Albanese's decision to retain Rudd despite these tensions risks undermining diplomatic trust, particularly given Rudd's limited ability to engage credibly with your administration. In light of Albanese's past smears, his campaign's divisive tactics and his endorsement of Rudd's ambassadorship, I respectfully urge you to address these issues directly during your meeting with him in the Oval Office. Your recent interaction with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky demonstrated your willingness to confront leaders openly when you perceive disrespect or misalignment with US interests. A similar approach with Albanese could clarify his commitment to the US-Australia alliance and hold him accountable for his and Rudd's past statements. Australia remains a key ally, particularly through the AUKUS Pact and shared security interests, but Albanese's actions suggest a need for frank dialogue to ensure mutual respect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I trust you will approach this meeting with the strength and clarity that have defined your leadership. Sincerely, Rob Smith. And I agree. Rudd has done nothing but smear Trump, and so has Albanese, actually. And Wokeness said South Africa effed around and found out. White farmers currently produce 95.3% of their corn, 98.7% of their wheat, 97.6% of their cotton, 97.2% of their citrus, 99% of their potatoes, 91.4% of their tomatoes, 96.9% of their soybean, 95.8% of their poultry, 66% of their cattle, and 89% of their wool. Guess what's going to happen in South Africa? What did I say yesterday and the other day? Okay, we're going to leave that one because that's too long right now. I'll go into this one a bit later. Keir Starmer said if you want to live in the UK, you should speak English. That's common sense. Really? Well, why didn't you have that common sense years ago? So we're raising English language requirements across every main immigration route. Or route, depending on how you say it. Okay? This is a big turnaround. Since his meeting with Trump, what a turnaround. Trump's given him the order. Right. You better. Cat Turd said we're about to find out who in Congress serves Big Pharma over American citizens. Yeah. Like Johnson, and who was the other one at the beginning that I mentioned? Kelly Means said just received information that Laura Loomer is taking money from industry to scuttle President Trump's agenda. Laura Loomer, if that's incorrect, sue me and let's do discovery. Ooh, that's a big call out. I don't know. Okay. Who's she replying to? Who's a plant? This person, maybe. They both popped up out of nowhere and now America's darlings when they only regurgitated what the OGs in this area have said for at least 20 to 30 years. Exactly. Okay. Anyway, I don't know. You can make up your own mind about that one. I'm not even going to like it because I don't know for sure what's going on here. But we'll see if Laura Loomer takes him to court. We'll see. History Nerds said the first slaves, because Laura Loomer wasn't around years ago when all this was going on either, okay? Nowhere to be seen. I told myself I wouldn't like that. I'll see what happens with this one. History nerds said the first slaves in America weren't African, they were Irish. Men, women and children were sold, starved and worked to death. Their suffering was buried for centuries. Here's the dark... Oh, this might be another one I've got to read another day, guys. Yep, because otherwise this is going to run too long and I want to try and keep it short. What I will do is, and I do want to read it, believe me, I'm not trying to get around anything here. I want to read this. So are Australians, by the way, okay? Ben Robson said this is effing ridiculous and another example of Australia's cost of government crisis. Each of the 49 ministries has staff and government departments, all funded by Australian taxpayers. Many ministries primarily exist to reward the Prime Minister's factional allies. With higher pay, government ministers get a higher wage than regular members of Parliament. Why is there a Minister for Housing and a Minister for Homelessness and a Minister for Cities? Yes, they are three ministries that have been assigned to the same Member of Parliament, but it is preposterous that all three exist when they are substantially the same thing. Why is there a Minister for Northern Australia? Why is there a Minister for Pacific Island Affairs? Should our relationship with the Pacific Islands be handled by the Minister for Foreign Affairs? Isn't there a substantial amount of overlap redundancy between the Minister for Industry and Innovation and the Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestries, the latter being Australian industries? What about the overlap between the Minister for Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development and Local Government and the Minister for Regional Development, Local Government and Territories, each being assigned to two separate ALP members of Parliament with titles that have huge overlap? Why do we need a Minister for Early Childhood Education and a Minister for Education? Is early childhood education so difficult that the Federal Department of Education, a department that actually hires no teachers, can't do it too? How much overlap is there between the Minister for Aged Care and Seniors and the Minister for Social Services? Then there's all the assistant ministers that double up the number of government members of Parliament who are assigned to portfolios and special envoys that even triple on some areas. Australian taxpayers are being scammed. As a libertarian, I frequently get asked, where would you find the savings to pay for lower taxes and fewer government fees? Well, here's one part of the answer. Let's halve the number of members in Parliament who get bigger wages and extra staff because they've grifted themselves some sort of bullshit ministerial position as payback for supporting the Prime Minister in some factional stitch-up. Holy cow. New Albanese government has 49 various ministers. The US, with 13 times the population, gets by with 15 cabinet secretaries earning about half as much. Of course they do. Okay, Tristan Tate here said, I've tried to talk mates out of mine high on cocaine out of bar fights. It didn't work and I ended up having to hit people. With this in mind, no world leader should be taking part in any negotiation that could lead to nuclear war if he is on coke, let alone being actively high. Yeah. Like Keir Starmer, the French one and the German one, or whatever they were, whoever they were. Oz Integrity said, Australia, when did we agree to be replaced? Why is our government's intent on forcing a demographic change that is diametrically different from our established population at our cost? Why is integration and assimilation no longer required but rejected? Well, let's have a little listen.
Let's take Amsterdam, the capital. Amsterdam currently consists of 56% migrants. The Hague, 58% migrants. Rotterdam, almost 60% migrants. And of course, most of these immigrants come from non-Christian, non-Western, African and Middle Eastern countries. Conclusion, the Dutch population is already outnumbered in the majority of our cities. But let's look onwards. London, 54% migrants. Again, conclusion, native population outnumbered. Brussels, color me shocked, 70% migrants. Conclusion, native population majorly outnumbered. And other Europeans will, of course, follow suit soon if they haven't already. So I'm going to draw the forbidden conclusion here. The Great Replacement theory is no longer a theory. It's reality. And what's interesting about replacement is that the establishment will either deny its existence, or when they admit to it, they say that it's a good thing that the native European population is soon no longer a majority on its own continent. Dutch national disgrace and dubbed climate pope Frans Timmermans already stated in 2015 that diversity is humanity's destiny and that Europe will be diverse. And of course, by now, I think we all know what they mean with the word diversity. It means less white people, less of you. Imagine this in an Asian or an African country. Imagine their leaders rejoicing in the fact that their people will soon no longer be a majority in their own country. Absolutely unthinkable, unimaginable. So what in the world is wrong with our leaders?
Okay. If multiculturalism is such a good thing, why aren't they doing it with Africa? Why are Africans killing the Boers, the white people, the white farmers? You know, if diversity is so good for us, why is the Middle East not exploding with white people? Very interesting, isn't it? Huh. Maverick Alexander said time out. What did Trump just say? Explosive, unreal. Let's have a listen. I might have to turn it down. I've got to watch the volume on this because I didn't really look at the last one.
Lopping off someone's ding-a-ling doesn't make them a woman, it makes them a eunuch. But you already knew that, right? So, as I was saying, George Soros, Bill Gates, and many more are pursuing a depopulation agenda. Very inappropriate. Poison in the food, fake medicine, endocrine disruptors, psych meds, and mass immigration. They want to turn your kids gay, retarded, or both. David Hogg, Harry Sisson, and that one fat chick are the prototypes. Very off-putting. I don't often say the word yuck, but I think it fits here. Conspiracy theories, for the most part, are simply spoiler alerts. Alex Jones, paragon of truth and justice, has been saying these sorts of things for years, and it's high time we start paying attention. Lopping off someone.
Did you see that at the beginning? This is AI generated. This is not real, but I want to show you how good AI is. Let me get it back to the beginning where it says it. Or was it at the end? No? It flicks in there. This is a deep fake, quite obviously, but let people dream. Okay? Now, I thought that was quite funny anyway, but that is a deep fake, and that's how good it is. Okay, what's this? Got no idea. Oh, that's going to... Okay. Let's have a look at this one today. This will be the last one. Megan's Mole said the comments do not disappoint. Anne Wokeness said most insufferable thing I've ever seen. Let's watch just a little bit of this.
I don't know what I'm doing. Yet. My business hasn't gotten traction. Yet. No one's picked up my book proposal. Yet.
Yes.
I haven't found my soulmate. Yet. Everything is yet.
The power of yet.
The power of yet.
I don't know what I'm doing.
What in the fuck? The power of yet? Oh my God, these delusional women. Seriously? They haven't got a brain between both of them. Do you think they've got one brain cell between both of them? I'm not even sure that's possible. Or they're capable of it. Okay, guys, with that, I'm going to leave it there for today. I shall be back tomorrow with another video, or maybe a live. I don't know yet. We'll see how we go. Hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.